This is an oral history interview conducted for the Witness to War Serving a Nation project at Nauset Regional High School on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. For this sake of interview, please state your full name and committee you live in which you reside in.
My full name is Kevin Christopher Garrad. I reside in East Ham.
Okay. How did you end up on Cape Cod?
Through Al Shapiro, a fellow veteran here, runs Blue Cord Fisheries. So he hires veterans to come up here and work. I just got back from Africa, so I needed a little break, so I came up here. And so I ended up here.
How long have you been on the Cape for?
About 8 weeks.
Did you have any jobs before you went off to Afghanistan?
No, I graduated from school in England at 16, moved to America on 9/11, landed in New York, touched down Savannah, Georgia, and the towers came down, and I joined the army in November.
While growing up, did you ever think about joining the army?
Yeah, my whole life. My big military family, my uncles were paratroopers in the British Army, and I used to read all the Special Forces books and Chris Ryan, Behind Enemy Lines, so yeah, it's my dream.
Any more reasons for joining?
Yeah, as you get older, you'll find out there's different. You're either like a hunter or a gatherer, and I very much believe that. Not so much a hunter, but like the wanderers. There's those in the world that just don't want to settle down. And you don't know it yet, but you'll find out. So I'm like that. I'm just restless. Like it's in my soul. So for me, it makes sense. That's why soldiers go. And there's women out there that do conservation. It's just there's wanderers. There's people that like staying put. That's why the army and the adventure for me was like why I went, and helping the world. Like it's.
When you first did you go to college?
No, in England we graduate school at 16. And we're done. We literally graduate, go straight to the workforce. So you graduate, join the army, or go straight to work.
Okay. When you first came to America, how long did it take you to sign up for the military?
I got here September 11. The towers came down a few hours later, and then September, October, November. Signed up in November, and then I was in training. I think it was before New Year's, and then I was deployed into combat. I was in combat by summer.
Why did you join the Army? Not the Navy or the Air Force or any other service branch?
Because I wanted to be a soldier my whole life, and there was about to be a war. When there's about to be a war, you want to be a soldier on the ground.
Why did you... were you chosen to join the Special Forces?
Yes. So do you understand how that works?
Yes, please.
So in the Army, you have the regular Army, which makes up about 99% of the bulk, and then you have 1%, which is Special Operations Force. You have the Rangers. It's a pretty big unit, and they are a very elite shock troop. Imagine like the school football team. They're going to go in, smash stuff, and like the women like them, but they're like, that's it, yeah? And then above them, you've got even smaller Special Forces, which I was. It's a real quiet kind of group, and we pick from the very elite of the Army. So you're the best of the best. We have a tryout for that. I went to selection with 378 people, and 3 weeks later there was 120 of us left standing, and of that 120, 73 of us were selected to go to a year of school. And then after the year of schooling, we have to learn a foreign language fluently, shoot, drive. After injuries and dropouts and guys not making it, you might only get about 45 people. So from 378, the very end is 45. It gives you the kind of idea, the kind of people you have. So a lot of secret work and covert stuff we do. But.
In total, how long was your training?
Just to get into Special Forces, going through selection was 3 weeks of hell. You go through 3 weeks of like no sleep, no food. It's horrible. Then after that, if you pass that, you're not into Special Forces. That just says you can show up to train for a year, and in that year you have to learn a language fluently. You speak Spanish, French, Chinese, Tagalog, advanced shooting. If you don't meet the standards, 75% or high, you fail the test, 74%, you're done. So every test, 75% are over. You can't fail. So there's a very high attrition rate. And then when you graduate that, you get to a team. And when you get to a team, like I know it, you don't know anything. And then for the rest of your career, you're either at combat or training. So I've been in schools for years and years of driving, shooting, James Bond stuff, how to jumpstart cars, how to sew, how to do medical stuff, how to stop bleeding, how to anything, it's important. But yeah.
When you were given the choices for language, what language did you choose?
Parlez-vous le français, c'est très bien. Speak French. Sprechen Sie Deutsch ein bisschen. Speak a little bit German.
So you were part of the Green Berets, right?
Yes.
Where was your first? When you were first deployed, where were you deployed?
I was deployed to Iraq for the invasion of Iraq for the war. We took Saddam Hussein. That was my first deployment. Straight into it.
So where in Iraq were you deployed?
So I was it. So the bracelets I wear, my friends that died in the war. So I wanted to be at war. So I got everything I wished for. I was at the 3rd ID at Savannah, Georgia, and we were the mechanized force of tanks. So we were chosen to lead the invasion. It just so happened that my platoon were the first ones trained on the Javelin missile, which is this missile that launches. So we were the front. So we were it. So we blew the berm up, we crossed the desert. So that big, remember the old video? That was us. I'm in the videos. So that was it. We were it. So from Kuwait to Baghdad, and I took the city and we took the airport. I did that.
When you first landed there, what did you see?
Desert. You land into, back then we landed in Kuwait in the middle of the night. Big C-17s go off in the dark, and it was just these big tents in the desert with wire around them. We lived there, and then we sat around forever. We sat around for 3 months waiting for the war to start. We didn't quite know. So you just sat out in the desert, and every day you just waited. And it was just the longest wait. It's just eternal waiting. It's a lot of stress, just waiting, especially waiting for war.
When was the first time you were deployed, like sent into combat?
The day the war started, 19th of March 2003. Blew the berms and went into Iraq.
So you were driving a tank?
No, I was in a Humvee actually, but I was in the mechanized unit. So we were in Humvees between the tanks. You usually have a big formation of tanks, like a big V, and then between them you have your armored vehicles, and then we were the missile guys, so we were in between them. You skirt around, so if they stop, you skirt ahead, because you're quicker, and then they move up. So yeah, did that a lot. You bump into tanks a lot doing that. So I've fought tanks, which is unusual. Not many people I know have fought tanks. I've fought tank on tank, yeah.
When you were serving, how many people were in your unit or squad?
It depends. Like when I was regular army, a squad's about 12 or 10 guys, and a platoon's about 30. But when I'm in special forces, it's 12. A unit in special. So I ended my career as special forces. So really, my unit special forces is always 12. It's 12 men.
Out of those 12 men, how many men came back?
Of my 12, from like I didn't lose anyone from my team. But I lost people from other teams that we work with. My friends, I have friends in other teams, and then like case in point. And then from the war, I lost my very first guy I went for the army. My first friend I lost outside Iraq, outside Baghdad airport. Got killed by a tank, blew our truck up. And then I lost the first Medal of Honor, Smith, at the airport when we got overran, surrounded. He was my platoon sergeant, or I guess I didn't know someone. And then Holland said got blown up at the airport. So I've lost a lot of people. It happens.
Sorry.
It's not bad. Like, people say that. It's not like I'm a soldier, man. Like I'm a warrior. Like it's very much like I want this. This is what I do for a living. So even though I'm sad, but most soldiers kind of go into this. We're not conscripted. We go into this wanting this. So it sucks, but at the same time, like if it happened to me, I died doing what I like, and that's important. Like screw working in an office. If like this happens to me, like I've had a good life. I'm happy. Like, you know what I mean, that's important. That's better than money.
What is your happiest memory of the war?
See, I like I like this kind of lifestyle, man. War is exciting if you're a young man. It's tanks and explosions, there's jets. It's like the movies, man. I was like 18 years old, and it's the craziest thing ever. Yeah, there's a lot of horrible stuff, like I said, but there is a lot of cool stuff, man. I was fighting a war. It's like tank on tank. I mean, I bumped into a tank in the airport in long grass. Like we were getting overrun. And we were like running for the grass. I can hear a tank in the grass. So we're like running towards it. We're like, come running for the grass to think it's one of our tanks. Like, help us. It's an enemy tank. We're like, oh, wrong tank. But like, case in point, I think it's funny now looking back, but it's a crazy thing, man. Lack of sleep and the memories are blurred and it's dark and it's confusing, man. It's a chaotic thing, war is. It's a lot to take in.
What was your proudest memory?
Actually, giving back has been, especially in special forces, giving back when I've done good things. I've done a lot of fighting, especially my job. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, we've fought and killed people as part of the job. That's easy, and it's not rewarding really long term. But some of the most rewarding things I've done is when I've been able to do like village stuff, especially when I was older. Maybe improve a well, or make sure the Taliban weren't messing with the school and improved it, and then you've gone into really. It's one thing to kill one Taliban guy and he starts planting bombs. It's another thing to improve a school that will teach 100 children, and possibly in the next 10, 20 years, one of them kids might be the kid that cures cancer. I mean, just because they're in these villages and they're dumb now, they're dumb because there's no infrastructure, but there's kids out there that might be the cure for the future. That's more powerful for me. Didn't know that when I was younger. I had to get a little older right now to learn that, but that's the stuff that really counts.
How long were you over in Iraq?
I did 16 years in the army, and I deployed every year for at least 6 months, and all combined, I've spent 8 years in combat. Not deployed, that's 8 years in combat. So it's in a war zone. So.
When you hear the word Iraq, what do you think?
Hot. Hot palm trees, car bombs, road bombs, big ice blocks. I don't know why there were always these massive white ice blocks. Stray dogs everywhere. Yeah, pretty much it's Iraq. Yeah, that's what flashes in my mind for Iraq.
Were you ever close to a IED going off, or?
Oh, yeah, I've had my bell rung more than most people. So during the Iraq War, we got fratricided by an Abrams tank, misidentified us, which I don't know anyone else has survived that, but it hit us, blew the turret off the vehicle we were in, killed my friend, but because the blast shield was closed, we all lived. I don't know how. That's ridiculous. I've had car bombs go off. I used to deal with bombs at special forces later on in life. I was pulling into the market one day. So this is a big concrete wall here. I was about to pull out into traffic, but for whatever reason I stopped for a second, and a car bomb went off the other side of the wall, right as I was about to pull out. Destroyed the market. So all the market and the dead come down on our side, and we were fine. Nothing. Not a scratch. About that much difference would have mattered. If we had just pulled out, I don't know why we didn't. And yeah. And I've even gone down before and defused a bomb in Afghanistan, defused it, cut the wires, blew it up. And as I was going back to check on it, for some reason I was like, I laid down to check again. As I did that, another bomb went off. If I'd gone another 5 feet, I would have done it. I would have stayed in it and blood dead. That means someone was watching me and waiting for me. Yeah, I've had lots of close calls like that. Lots and lots.
When you were in the Humvee, what seat did you do?
I was usually a gunner a lot. I like being a gunner. But special forces, depends what the mission was. I like being a gunner. I'm a good gunner. But I'm also a master breacher. So when we raid, I'm the guy that blows doors and stuff. So I'm always usually in a seat that jumps out.
Are there any notable raids that you could tell us about?
Most of them. I mean, I've been on lots in Iraq and Afghanistan. We used to go after high-value targets. So top Al-Qaeda, top Taliban guys, that's what we used to do. So night after night we'd go out and get the worst of the worst on the list. I don't know if you remember back in the days after the war in Iraq, they had a deck of cards with all the top players on it. Used to hunt them down. So that's what I used to do at night. I used to go out and hunt people down.
May you please describe one of their raids?
Not really. I mean, they're all the same. Usually, special operations, like that kind of thing, you sit around by an airfield. I'm sure you've seen, what is it? What's the one when they killed Osama bin Laden recently? I can't think of it. When they did that raid, you've seen it on TV.
SEAL Team?
Yeah, they did the movie on it, wasn't it? They showed the raid and how they killed him and stuff. That's what we did. That's exactly it. You sit around, you get the intel, and then you launch on the target, you land, you hit the building. Usually it's gates, you blow them in, so you've got to blow the gates up. So my job would run up, place the charge, blow the gate. You go through, clear it. You'd fight in if you needed to, and then you clear the house, you kill or capture the bad guys, and after that, you have to log and annotate everything. Like it's the raid is actually very quick. It's not, even if you do it right and there's no fighting, a raid's over in 1 minute. But you spend hours there for the rest of the night searching, and anything you find you have to annotate and log. So you might start the raid at 11 and be done by 11:15, but you don't leave until like 4 or 5 in the morning because you have to annotate it all, and then you're searching for bombs and they hide stuff. You might be looking for a SIM card from the phone. That's it. That SIM card might have all the numbers for every terrorist you know on it. That's all you need, and they hide that. If you miss that thing, and you might have killed the guy, but if you miss that one SIM card, that's it. You have to find that. Sometimes you don't find it, but people hide things in the same place. Like, you wouldn't just put it randomly in the book. You put it in a corner. It's kind of how, like, same as squirrels. They put it by the people are the same. So knowing when to look helps, but you need that one thing, maybe one phone, one piece of rolled up paper that's hidden. That's what you look for all night. So the sexy part is really quick. The rest of the night is long and boring, man.
When you were in Iraq, what was your favorite food?
Iraq
or Iran?
Iraq wasn't really notable. No, Iraq was. They've got really good. I like curry. I'm a huge curry fan. Oh yeah. Oh, that's really good. I'm a huge curry fan. They got really good like flatbread, like a pita bread. It's great, and they fresh bake it in the clay ovens. It's delicious. And then the rice is like this saffron rice with the curry, and then coriander. It's really good. Same in Afghanistan. It's kind of it's a carb meat. It's really good. You just dump all your food in it and wrap it up like a wrap. It's great.
What was your most vivid memory during your time serving?
I don't know. That's really good ones. Those are really neat things. I don't know. I've had so many good ones. Some really stand out. I saw a snow leopard before in Afghanistan. Snow leopard, rarest. I love my animals. I'm in Africa now. I do this for a living. Rarest big cat in the world. People spend their whole lives looking through and barely see one. I had one follow me for a whole night. We did a mission way up in the Hindu Kush. And like 3 of us. And this jet fighter came on. It was like, I can see 4 of you. Like, there's only 3 of us. Like, not 4. This big head came out from behind a rock. And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, that's a snow leopard. It had this long tail. And like, it was like frolicking like a big dog. Like, not close enough but just close enough to be worrying. And then you'd lose it. And it'd pop up the trail. And it did that all night. And then that's... People I told that to were like, what? I'm like, I know. That stands out, yeah. All the fighting, that's amazing. Like, people don't see that.
What were you doing that mission?
Sneaking around trying to shoot people placing IDs. We were living on top of the mountain, and we had this little hide site, and then at night we'd wait for it to get dark, and then we'd come down and stop halfway, and then as it got dark we'd come down, and where they placed bombs on the road, we'd laying there. We'd spread out, the 3 of us, we'd space out, had the sniper rifle with the night vision on it, and we'd wait for them to dig.
Were you shooting or were you range finding?
Shooting.
What was your darkest memory during the time?
I don't really have any, to tell the truth. I have some things that are troubling, but yeah, I don't really... And that's what's funny, because I always hear about PTSD. Like, if you do stuff like this, if you're in a big car accident, you remember that. Like, it's not... I don't really have any since this one glaring thing. They're all horrible, but nothing really like... Yeah, I've seen lots of horrible stuff that bothers me, but not one that's like so terrible. I've seen terrible things, but it's how you deal with it. Like, we're soldiers, it's what we do, and it happens. Understanding that helps. I think that's a big issue that I don't have that some people do.
Can you please describe some of those memories?
The traumatic ones, like I said, I've seen lots of friends killed. Happens, man. I've done raids. Slim they were riding ATVs when Slim got killed. And he got killed in the ATV, and the ATV kept going down the road to the Taliban and crashed into the Taliban, and they were taking his body. So the team was trying to fight to get their guy back. Can you imagine that? Like, that's the biggest mind screwing on. Your friend is there, like 50 meters away. The enemy has him. You're trying to fight to get him back, and they're dragging him down. You don't know if he's dead, and you're desperately fighting to get him back. That's that kind of stuff. I've been in big fights. So I trained a lot of Afghans to be special operations that then would real us. That's kind of emotional, I guess, because they very much look up to you because you train them, and they're kind of like your kids. Even though they're older than you, they're very much. So seeing them hurt is kind of crappy a little bit, because that's personal to me. Like, especially when they look up to you, when you see him bloody and they're looking at you, that kind of sucks a little bit. That one sucks out.
What were you feeling when he was shot out of the car and they were dragging him? What was going through your head at that time?
Oh, not anger. That's the other thing about being a professional gunfighter. Do this, no anger. Like, I don't get angry. Anger is a stupid emotion. Anger makes you do rash decisions. It doesn't let you think clear. In my job, like special forces guys, when it's time to fight, it's not like screaming. It's very calm. For me, it's like yoga. Like, adrenaline isn't this surge. For me, it's calming. It doesn't quite slow down. It just lets me focus. Like, I get Peyton Manning. Like, the whole field slows down because he's in his zone. When they say hot, like that's it. It's like it's just focused. That's what I get. So I can see what's going on. It's not like I'm not freaking screaming. It's just like this is what needs to be done, and you plan ahead. Clear heads win battles. Screaming does not.
What were your living conditions like?
When we first did the invasion, terrible. There were no living conditions. There was nowhere to live. We lived in the ground or dug holes and slept in holes because we got bombed at night. And it rained and they got filled with mud. And then we got to Baghdad and we just kind of roughed it out. Later on in life, at the very end of the war, I had a nice room and a nice gym and a chow hall and we were sunbathing and had a media room and we were playing basketball. Like, life was good.
May you please describe the change over time? Like, what, like...
Oh, I got there from day one when there was nothing there. Like, we were it. I came back a year later and the first camps were there, but they were small. The next year I came back, they were massive. And then they're huge. And now they're just insanely big. And now it got to just a ridiculous point which kept growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And now the war's over, all that stuff's there, they can't bring it back, and it's like, what do you do with it?
What were the camps like when they were around the medium size?
They were nice. I mean, the US camps are nice. You have like the containerized housing, you've seen it, like they're nice. It's got a nice room, it's got AC in it, you've got a bed, furniture, and you have access to the internet. So you can go on Amazon and buy pillows and nice stuff, and you have really nice rooms if you do it right. I mean, you got a nice little gym. At least on the medium side, you get 2 hot meals a day. So it'd be like hot breakfast, sandwiches for lunch, and a hot dinner. You got access to internet mostly, and it's rough, but it's not terrible. I say not terrible. For you guys, you'd be like, this is the worst in the world, but it gets worse. And so for me, I'm like, it's not bad. We have a different version of what's bad and what's not.
What was the worst conditions that you had to stay in?
Like, holes in the ground. We had to dig a hole in the ground because we were getting bombed all the way, mortar rounds, landing rounds all the way into Iraq, and we just lived in a hole you have to dig in the ground. Like 6 foot deep, big enough for one person. You sleep in a hole at night in case some mortar round lands.
How long did you have to do that for?
The whole war. Every time you stopped at night, you have to dig a hole. Everyone dug holes, and you have to dig in for the night because mortar rounds, bombs go off during the night and kills people.
How long did it take to dig a hole?
Depends. You tell me, man. You dug holes for? If it's sand, it can take minutes. If it's clay, it can take all night. But you have to dig a hole to sleep. And,
When you first entered the military, did you plan on going into the Special Forces?
Yes. That's key with everything in life, like visualization. I knew I wanted to do it. That was my dream. That's why I went after it. It helps if you have that.
During boot camp, what was the easiest thing that you did, and what was the hardest thing that you did during training?
I can't remember. Boot camp was so long ago. Boot camp was easy. It's dumb. It's easy.
What was the easiest thing you did in training?
Jumped out of planes onto the beach in Florida and got drunk. In board shorts, like big military planes, like Special Forces man, flying down the beach in Panama, Florida, because we were doing an ocean jump, like down the beach. First pass, we're like, now come back around, everyone see, like, and then you do a big loop and came back around to the beach, and they all jump out like the back, like onto the beach, like into the surf, like in board shorts, and all the women love it. It's great. Yeah, it's terrible. I have a horrible job.
What was the hardest training that you did?
Steer school, survival, escape, resistance, and evasion. That's where you learn to resist interrogation by being tortured for like a week or so, which is horrible. And then you do a week of learning how to survive in the bushes, in the field. You don't get any food, only what you catch for that week. They teach you how to catch it. If you catch it, you eat. If you don't catch any food, you don't eat. So now you haven't eaten for a week. And then at the end of that week, you start the phase of like you're behind enemy lines, you have to run from here to 100 miles to here, and you've got a week to do it while you're being chased by people. So if you get caught, you go, now you have to try and eat. You've learned how to catch food, now you've got to try and do it on the run. If you're lucky, you might find a rabbit, roadkill, and then you get captured, and you go to prisoner of war camp, and you get tortured.
Were you ever captured?
For training, yeah.
In combat?
No.
Did you know anybody who was captured?
I've met a couple of people actually, older guys. I met a guy that was captured, British Army, captured by the RA. Another guy that was captured by Africans, I think, in Congo. Yeah, I guess I have met people, yeah.
Did you serve in any other conflicts rather than Afghanistan and Iraq?
Afghanistan, Iraq, I've been in Africa right now. I was stationed in Germany, spent a lot of time in the Eastern Bloc. Romania, back in Lithuania and Ukraine, doing work with NATO.
What was your favorite place where you were stationed?
Germany. Oh, Stuttgart, Germany. But I'm in Africa right now. Now I'm out of the military, but I love Stuttgart, Germany. Germany's good fun.
What rank were you in the military?
Sergeant first class.
So were you the head of your squad, or were you?
I was one of the senior guys. Yep.
When you were, may you please completely describe a raid for the video?
A raid.
Mm-hmm. From start to finish.
What's the question? Because I can give you better than a raid. There's things better than raids. Raids are boring.
What was the most exciting thing that you did while you were over in Iraq?
See, the raids are good, but a raid's a direct action thing. It's very much you go straight in, get it done. The opposite of that would be an ambush. So on a raid, they pick the place, you pick the time. On an ambush, you pick the place, they pick the time. Which is, ambush, you put an ambush and you have to wait for them to come to you. But ambushes are fun when they're done right. Some of the best ones actually are Reconnaissance. That's when, raids, like I said, I don't get afraid. Even if the bear was in the hallway, it does you no good. For me, I get very focused. Where am I going through the roof? Or am I stabbing in his face? But raids are I don't get, Reconnaissance will get your blood pumping. When there's just two of you in a town at night, sneaking around in the dark, it's all green, you're around corners, fuck. You wear the headsets, so my noise is amplified, so I can hear everything. So you can hear them talking, you got silencers on, that I can't control. I can keep my blood down pretty good in raid, but sneaking around just a couple of guys on your own, that gets my blood pumping.
May you please describe your favorite reconnaissance mission?
Yeah, we did this one where we were doing that sniper mission with the leopard. We came down from the mountains, so we snuck in. The Taliban town was full of Taliban, and the army wouldn't go in there. So we were like, we'll go in at night, just the three of us. And the army was like, you guys are crazy. Because they were with us at the top of the mountain. We were like, see ya. And we went into this town looking for a fight, the three of us. And we couldn't find anyone. It was crazy. But they had these massive dogs in Afghanistan. These huge, big white dogs called Kangals. They're designed to fight leopards. And this thing found us and was trying to kill us. But we couldn't make any noise because the town would know. So I turned around and my friends have left me and they're climbing over a wall. So I hand up my gun because I got the sniper rifle. I'm like, help me, and this dog's trying to eat me. I'm like, give me something. I meant a gun with a silencer. He drops down a Gerber with the multi-tool with a knife open. I'm like, yeah. I was like, fuck. Excuse me. I'm like, are you serious? This big old dog, I'm kicking it, trying to stab him with this Gerber knife, and it didn't work. Bit the crap out of me. That was a good mission. It looked like a polar bear. I think it was a polar bear. Couldn't confirm it, but it looked like...
What did you guys do after that?
After that, it was terrible because we shouldn't have gone into that town and we made a lot of noise, and it was after that it went really bad. So we were like, we need to get the hell out of Dodge, and the light was going to come up in a few hours. This is why Special Forces, what we do, and the training we do. I knew as the leader of that we couldn't get back to the top of the mountain before daylight, and we were going to make contact. So my options were to stand and fight in the city, make a stand, and hope they didn't find us. But that dog was bleeding, and it was going to follow us, and someone was going to follow that blood. So I made a decision. We dumped as much ammo as we could in this empty house, took the bare minimum, dumped all our extra food, water, put our rucksacks on, and we went about 20 miles back to camp on foot for the night. It was rough. We pretty much, I'd never gone so fast on foot. We pretty much ran all night. We'd run until we couldn't run and walk and walk and walk. We had no water. We got super dehydrated and cramps. It was one of the guys at the end was so bad, so dehydrated, we just kept going. And then the truck was going to come meet us, couldn't find us, and we finally walked into camp. So the army had listened to it the whole night as we were walking back, and they were like, we walked into camp at first light, and they were like, you guys are crazy. But then we were legends in camp. It was great after that. They were like, they walked back from town and stabbed a polar bear. I was like, yeah, it's nothing. It was 10 hours. It destroyed my body. It took me about a week to recover. Dehydration. I got an IV. We were bad, yeah. But that's the stuff that's fun. Not at the time, but looking back, it's a great story.
Any other stories like that?
Too many. But yeah, we do lots of stuff like that, man. It's some good stuff. Just out and about. Yeah, we just go out. We'd go out and do a lot of, I think, some good ones. I mean, we've had helicopters go down. We've gone after. I've been a lot of helicopter raids. I love helicopters.
May you please describe your favorite helicopter raid?
Oh, I did a massive one in Iraq. We did a huge one, the biggest one I've ever been on in Iraq in 2005. So we did an entire aviation division package of air, which when it comes in is huge. You hear it coming. It comes in formation. So it's like all these Chinooks up front, which are huge. Like 10 up front, like 20 Black Hawks behind. They all taxi in and land. It's a ruckus. And then you load a lot of people, and then you fly out. We raided all these islands. But when it comes in, it's impressive. Like, I remember, the Vietnam movies. I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is my life. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then, like I said, I've been in some good firefights. I like that kind of stuff, though. It's good fun. Guns and rocket launchers, and yeah, it's great.
Were you ever pinned down and had to have an evacuation?
I've been pinned down before. I've ever had an evac. Never had to have an evac, but I've been pinned down before, a couple of times. I've been pinned down by a sniper before, which is really unnerving, especially when he's right on you. Like, it's one thing when someone's cracking rounds by you, and it's kind of like, but when someone is on you, like every time you pop your head up, like someone's drilling, then you're like, oh, someone's got a crosshair on you. So you know if you put your head up, it doesn't, even if you roll out. Because if it's me, I'm like, I'm going to predict where you're going. So you're very much like, someone is actively trying to kill me. Then it's a game of like, where can I go? How to do this?
How did you get out of that situation?
What happened? We basically lobbed a bunch of grenades at it, and smoke grenade and machine gun fire, and got out of it. And then battles change very quickly. You can just get stuck in a bad situation. Fights in an alleyway. I've been in fights in alleyways very quick. You go in these long alleyways in Afghanistan. When you're in it, it's as big as this. If someone pops out the other room with a gun and starts spraying down the alleyway, your options are, to turn back and run and get shot in the back, to die in place, or stand and fight. So it's very much, for me, I stand and fight. I stand and go forward. Because what does it matter? You know what I mean? That's the attitude for everything in life.
When you were serving, what was your weapon of choice? Like, since you were special forces, you got to choose your own.
Got to choose our own, yeah. So the standard one we all have is the M4, the Colt Special Operations. So our one's a fully automatic M42. We get single fire, full auto. It's a great gun. We've got the short barrel on it. So most of us have that. We'll use that for CQB. The other guns we have are the Scar Heavy, which is 7.62 by FN. So I carried that thing. It's a great gun. It's a beast. And you can change out the barrels, which we like. You can go from short to medium and then put on a sniper round. But it's a heavy round and it looks sexy, which I like. Then you've got the silence guns. So you have the MP5 silence, which you carry on the missions. So I have my sniper rifle and you carry the MP5 in town, because you want to be quiet. I didn't have it that night with the dog. My gun of choice, though, because I'm a big guy, so I used to carry the big gun, is the Mark 48, which is the 7.62 belt fit. It's really sexy. It's a beast of a gun. I love it. It's accurate, and yeah.
When did you get to use that thing?
All the damn time. Whenever I could. As soon as there was a fight, I'd be running to the front. Like, if there was a fight going on, it was usually me starting. It'd be like, oh, Kev's in it. I guess Kev found it. Yeah, I went after it. I love that thing. But the trick to winning fights is it's the amount of firepower and noise you put down. You know, if you're firing 1 or 2 rounds at me and I'm putting down 100 at you, like, it's very much. Even if you can't quite see where they are yet, the general idea is just to get their heads down, and with a machine gun you can kind of get a general idea pretty quickly. This away, but it works. And then after that, you start drilling down, and being a machine gun, like the movies, it doesn't happen like that. Being a machine gun is actually very properly like I am. It's very hard because that gun will overheat. It's a lot of rounds going. You'll melt the barrel. It'll limp.
Have you ever melted the barrel?
No. If you do that, you get kicked in the face. Like, it's the most stupid thing in the world. But people do it. Because if you melt the barrel in a fight, what good are you anymore? You've just taken out our biggest gun. That's not like an oops. You're an idiot and you're going to get killed. But you do that. So you have to keep... That's why you see the army guys shouting these videos, doing these stupid bursts. It makes me so angry. Because all you're doing, you're looking cool, but really you're running through a lot of ammo when you don't need to. That ammo is heavy, so you only carry so much. The average guy in the army carries like 500 rounds. I carried 800. 1,000 rounds some days, but I carry 800 in a backpack. Like the Terminator movie. I had the special made backpack, and the rounds were linked in it, so you put them at the bottom, they'd run through. And then a chute came down the side, rounds in it, I'd go into my gun. I'd have 200 rounds in a gun. So after this 200 rounds was gone, I'd disconnect that and put my little feed chute on, and fire from the hip. It's great. I hate it. But yeah, it's a good gun. I like that. I like my machine guns.
How much do you think your supplies weighed when you were carrying?
About 150 pound, full road, which is why I also like to shoot the machine gun. There's like as soon as there was like a pop, like bing, like oh yeah, go, get rid of some rounds. But no, not quite that, but pretty much. But yeah, you carry a lot of rounds to fight. So when the fight starts, you want to kind of get rid of some of that weight because it is heavy. It's really heavy being a machine gunner. It's. Oof.
When you went on reconnaissance, what did you usually bring?
Reconnaissance mission, so I'd only wear a front plate, maybe no body armor at all, just like a very light rig because you're not trying to fight. So you only carry enough rounds to get into 4 magazines, but I'd carry double grenades. You want probably twice as many grenades, like 4 grenades, because there's only a few of you, so you make a lot of noise and seem bigger than you are. That's the key to reconnaissance. You don't ever make contact in reconnaissance, but if you do, you seem bigger than you are. Like that initial contact, you make as much noise, you chuck as many grenades, you make them think that, oh, we've bumped into a huge force. And in that confusion, you need to break contact and then you get out of town. But that's already known. It's not like, oh, what do we do now? It's like, that's what's known.
What did you carry when you were going into combat?
So on a raid, so a good raid, so raids are, however, I do like raids too. Like it's like being a medieval knight. Like when I raid, I put on all my kit. I got my big body armor, so my front plates, my back plates, my side plates, and then I got 8 magazines. I've got 2 grenades. I've got flashbangs up front. I've got flashbangs on my back for your teammates to grab off your back. And I'm a breacher too, so I carry my charges. So I've got 4 charges, like these long on my back, so 2 on each side, so I can grab them off on the door. One up the top, one at the bottom. We call them nunchucks. Like a charge, like a rubber charge, and then the cord between it, which is the demolition tube, and then to that I connect it. So like a nunchuck. So basically hinge and hinge. So you just put them off my back. If that doesn't work, in my pack I got a rolled up 6-foot charge of C4, but really thin, and that'll blow through gates and walls. And if that doesn't work, I got one called an anaconda. It's like this big tube, say for really special occasions, and it would cut a hole in the wall. So if we're in a firefight and they're like down the hallway, they're like waiting for me to come out the door, I'm just like, yeah, no, door. And then they're like, oh, surprise! Shoot them in the back.
What was your most interesting raid that you did?
I don't know, just this confusion, man. Lots of them, just everyone, it's great. I've done some hostage rescue stuff, which is pretty cool. Hostage rescue is very hard. It's not like the movies, it's extremely stressful, because key is you're going to fight in a building where you can't kill hostages. You can't throw grenades, which makes it really hard if someone... But they can throw grenades, and they might kill the hostage. So you can't hit a building in a hostage raid and then get stuck in a firefight for like 10... You can't do it. You have to do the raid. You have to put... No matter what, like... Even if guys are dropping in the door, you just have to get it. It's a very much a violence of action. It's a raid like that, but it's stressful because you're like, oh, I don't want to shoot the hostage.
May you please describe one of those raids?
Yeah, like for the French hostages, you land on that mission... And like I said, it's very stressful. Like you don't quite know how many people in the house. You have to be very cognizant of the fact there are hostages in there. So you have to be very careful how you shoot, which we are, but it is an added stress. You don't know. You're so careful. You don't want to be the team that shot hostage. So hostage rescue is very, very hard. Stressful.
When you were first landed, what was the first mission you ever did?
I remember my first mission in Afghanistan. No, I can't actually. First landed in Afghanistan with a special forces guy. First landed, my best friend was already there, Rudy, and he picked me up at the airport. Like the convoy came in, I got in the truck, so I had a great time in the back of this truck driving back to camp. And we got in a firefight on the way home, but we're in these big armored vehicles. Like, I'm not used to be. It's the first time I've been in one of these MATVs. It's a different configuration. The sound's different. I can hear like ting 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 ting. I'm like, I thought we were like dragging cans for a while. What's that tinking sound? No, we were in a firefight, we didn't even know it yet. And then we were like trying to find it, but we were going so fast, roll like 60 miles an hour with these trucks. We were through the firefight before, they didn't even stop us. But we need these big trucks with the big thing on top, it's like a remote controlled gun, so you don't get to hear it, you're kind of in the truck a little bit. But we just rolled through it, and I was like, well, Afghanistan, like 15 minutes in country, and people just shooting these vehicles, we just kept going, I'm like, great.
What was your favorite vehicle you got to ride in?
ATV. I love my my ATVs. I've done some fun in Afghanistan. I had a ATV, And on it, I had, on the front, on the swing arm, the 240 Bravo machine gun. So as I'm driving along, I just basically just come to a stop and swing this machine gun off, and I'll be able to shoot from the ATV. And on the back, I had this big old rocket launcher strapped to the back.
Did you ever get to use a rocket launcher?
Oh, yes. Carl Gustav. This thing's a beast. 84 millimeters. Yeah, it's a breech loader too. So it comes with a bunch of different rounds. It comes with smoke, which is smoke. It comes with one called Flechette, where it fires all these little darts. It fires about 500 darts, like a big shotgun blast. So it just shreds whatever. It's just like a point and shoot about 100 meters. It fires one that's a tank round, and the other one is a time fuse, so you can a proximity round. So you set the round, which is really cool. So if you're in a building 200 meters away and you're shooting at me, it used to be with the old rockets, if I shot for the door and missed you, you'd be fine. If I range you at 200 meters, I set that round for 205. I just shoot over the wall, and it'll blow up above the wall above you. So it's great for stuff like that. If you're behind a berm or bunker, it doesn't matter. I'd just be like, set the range, I'm like, done. I just put it right for the door, 1 foot inside the door, and that's it. Round will come in and blow up in here. It's great.
Were you ever deployed to a bunker or had to do a raid on a bunker?
Oh, I've been in a trench line fight. Like old school, we trained to clear trench lines in the war for Iraq. I've fought in trenches. Like I've got in trenches with Iraqis and fought through trenches and cleared positions. I've fought through bunkers. Yeah, I've fought through fortified positions. I've cleared the airport. I've fought through towers, killed guys in towers. Yeah, I've done it all. Haven't took a castle. No, I have taken a castle. I've taken the castle too. Afghanistan that the Taliban took. I've taken the castle too.
Maybe please describe that.
Took a castle. we fought for a castle and took it. It's an old castle from back in the days, but it's very much a mud castle. It had the old fortress walls. It had the towers they were firing from, the slits, and it's a castle. Back from like the old days, man. I took it.
May you describe it? Like what happened?
Yeah, we showed up and wrecked it. We showed up and blew the door. It was hard because it's a castle, and I knew that as a breacher. So we planned ahead, and I got the schematics and the aerial footage. I was like, wow, this is a castle. This isn't going to be easy because it's not like you just blow the walls. The walls are thick. And castles are built very, very good for arrows. So it had this long passageway. Once you blew the gate, in castles, you don't just break into the courtyard. It's a long passageway where they keep firing down, and they put IEDs in there. It was a mess. Yeah, it was a lot of work to clear that thing. We took in airstrikes in the end on it.
Did you ever get to do an airdrop into a raid, or?
No, but I am a jump guy too, though. I do freeform, and I'm an airborne guy too, but I didn't jump into a raid. I wish I could have. That's like the best thing in the world. You get a little mustard stain, we call it. You get a little orange star above your jump wings. It's rare. I only know one guy that I've met that's done it. But
did you get any special medals, like the bronze medal?
Yeah, I've got a bronze star with Valor. Got a couple of bronze stars, but yeah.
Can you please tell us all your medals that you've gotten over the times?
I don't know, man. I've got a couple of bronze stars. I think I got 3 bronze stars, maybe. I got one with Valor. I've got everything below that, pretty much. I've got all the awards for the war we got, and then everything below a bronze star with Valor I have. The only thing above that's a silver star Medal of Honor. It's the only award I don't have for this current conflict. There's a bunch of them we got.
What was the highest award you've ever gotten?
A bronze star with Valor.
What is the Valor in the?
Valor denotes extraordinary heroism in combat. So that's something extraordinarily heroic for what I did. So you go above and beyond for what I did in combat.
What did you get for what? How did you get your bronze stars? Like, did you get it for one notable event or?
Three notable events, and then one really notable I got the Valor for. That goes all up to like the president and stuff.
May you please describe those 4 events?
Bronze Star of Valor for the airport. We took the airport, and after the airport battle, when everyone was being overrun, there was chaos, and we had Iraqis everywhere. I was a machine gunner, so I was doing a lot of killing. That's what I was meant to be doing. And then we got overrun in the courtyard, and I figured out where the Iraqis were shooting from at this tower. I stormed through the courtyard, and then they killed Smith. I was trying to take them out before they got Smith, but I killed the guys in the tower. And then they killed Smith, and that kind of turned the battle a little bit. And then, they kept fighting, a bunch more firefights after that on the way to. I asked for war, I got it. I managed to end up in all the firefights we were in. I was at Objective Curly, being fired on by missiles, I've been strafed by helicopters, we got shot by tanks. Yeah, I've had it all. Everything apart from chemical war. I remember that. We were fought in the chemical suits. But a couple of times we thought we got chemical attacked. We had to put the suits on, the masks, and that's what we thought we would have to fight the war like, but it never happened. And then the rest of them for just whole deployments in combat where you fight and do all these things, and it's really up there. So they give you a Bronze Star for that.
When you first came back did you go straight back to the United States when you came back?
From what? From the military or from war?
After the military.
Yeah, I came straight back. Yeah.
What did you do when you first came back?
Well, I was in the army. I got out of the army last October, and then I was out for a week, and I went straight to Africa because why not?
Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about Africa?
I do counter poaching in Africa. Rhinos and elephants will be extinct in 10 years. We lose about one every hour. It's a $22 billion trade, and I protect them. Yeah, so that's what I do.
How did you feel when you first came home?
Like when I got out?
Yes, like your feelings, like first few days when you got home.
It's confusing when you saying when I get home from war or when I get out of the army?
Both.
Oh, that's completely two different things. Getting home from deployment's great. Not because I'm like, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever. I'm like, oh my god, I want to eat a burger so bad. Like real food. Like, oh my god, I want to go see what real women look like at the bar and drink some vodka. Like, oh my god, like, I just want to watch TV for a few days and just kind of do anything. That's what's cool about war. I didn't come home like, oh my god. I come home like, yeah, got some money in the bank. Everyone get it. But then getting out of the army was it was rough for me, and I didn't see that coming. This would be my life. And how old are you?
14.
14. I joined 17. I was in the army, and at 18 I was at war, and I just got out. I'm 36. This would be my entire life. Like, I have a master's degree in combat. Like, pretty much, I've done as much as you can do as a special forces guy. So as far as like, I have a master's degree in this. I'm very good at this, but getting out of special forces kind of was a bit of a soul thing for me, because I felt like I lost an identity of what I was. It's that you go from being essentially like a professional athlete, a god of the military, like you are the top tier of the male population. You are it. It doesn't get any better. And then the next day you're not. You just get out and you still think you're up, but you're not. You lose all of it. But luckily I had Africa, and now I'm still doing the same thing in Africa, just in Africa.
Well, thank you for your time. It was very nice doing this interview. Do you have any more questions you want to ask us?
No, I think you guys are doing a good thing. It's like I said, I'm sorry I've kind of put on note. If I'd known this ahead of time, I think in the future you should give guys your talking points so we can think about it. Because I have so much stuff. I have great funny stories you can tell, but it's just on the spot. I'm like, if I'd known that ahead of time, I could have found like 3. Mm-hmm. So in the future, I think if you gave it to the new veterans ahead of time, you'd get a lot better stories. It'd really help. I just didn't know.
Okay, thank you so much.
But other than that, yeah, great guys.
Thank you.